else better to stand out from the crowd as a go-to expert in your field. Each week, Rich Bontrager interviews top leaders, influencers, authors, speakers, podcasters, and media professionals about how to leverage media best to help you shine brighter on camera and stage as a go-to expert. Now, here's your host, The Trigger, Rich Bontrager.
Welcome back. How many times have you seen me today streaming on different channels? It's been one of those days. Been in the studio a lot, having a great time doing it. Love presenting and interviewing people, having great discussions. It's great to have you back on a Wednesday night as we're streaming live on multiple channels again today. And throughout the show tonight, make sure you use the chat. We would love to have you ask questions, interact, celebrate comments, have a joke or two. So please join us in the conversation tonight as we are going to step out of our normal realm. I'm talking about media skills and being savvy, but that's what we're here about at Rock the Stage every Wednesday night and throughout the week. We will help you shine on camera, shine on stage to better help you elevate you and your brand. You're the brand authority. You are the expert. And tonight we have a serious expert in the house, but she's also a lot of fun. Lyndsay Dowd is recognized by Apple News as a top 10 coach for 2023. She's one of those movers and shakers. She is a speaker and the founder of the Chief Heartbeat Officer of her company called Heartbeat for Hire. Lyndsay has 25 years plus in the career sales and management. She is an accomplished leader, and she is a expert seller and has successfully managed large cross-band brand, diverse, high-performing sales. And she's worked with many teams, 23 years worth of climbing the ranks, even within IBM. I know a lot about IBM. Lyndsay is also a wife, a mother to a boy and girl. They are twins. That's something I did not know coming into this, and we're going to get into this. And she has two wiener dogs who lives just north of Boston. Welcome to the Rock on the Stage tonight, Lyndsay Dowd. Lyndsay, great to have you with us.
Hey, Rich. Nice to see you.
You never told me in all of our pre-conversations. You've got twins. I've got twins.
I do. You do? I didn't know that.
Yeah. How did that never come up in our pre-screening? My team failed in the pre-screening questionnaire there. But yeah, I've got twin girls who are in their 20-somethings now, rocking the world. But you got a boy and a girl, huh?
A boy and a girl in high school. So they're we don't have many summers left together before they go off to college. So it's go time.
Mine were identical, and we had a blast. And yes, they played tricks on Dad. So just to get that out before anyone asks, that's absolutely true. Great to have you on. And by the way, right away, the accolades are coming in for the stars. And I look at that. Lyndsay is amazing. Boom, right out of the gate. People are ready to hear from Lyndsay and what you got cooked up for us tonight. Also, you've got these wiener dogs. Now, a lot of people use the dog walking during pandemic as their excuse to get out. Did you do that? Did you use your dog as the excuse to get out?
I mean, we just got a new puppy, but the one that we rescued, she's really easy. So she just eats twice a day, goes out twice a day. Her life is simple, but she did love a walk. So it was a good excuse to get out and actually see people. I think back in the really, really tough time of the pandemic, you'd wave, across the street, you wouldn't dare come close. But yeah, now we have to get out because we've got both. And it's a lot of fun. And my little one, my puppy, she's very big on Instagram right now. So if you want to be entertained, Poppy Long Sausage is her handle.
Okay. I was going to say, she's not one of those that's on the typewriter and stuff. There's one right now with the glasses that's killing Instagram.
We haven't worked on that talent yet. No, she's just really funny, and she's very cute.
Well, tonight we're here to talk about this whole employee retention, the leadership factor of how that plays into it, but this whole vibrant company culture that people are dying to create. And right now, companies are really hurting on hiring, retention, on everything. But before we get into that, because you are such an amazing expert and a branding expert yourself, I do want to ask you about this Heartbeat for Hire. And you're the chief heartbeat of it all. So how did you come up with the name and the branding of that?
It was I'll give you a little of the background because the story is what helps you understand it. So, like you said, I was with IBM for 23 years. I had a really lovely, decorated career. I worked with incredible people. I had managed really big teams. And I left IBM. It was my choice. I wanted to go and try something else. So, I went to another company and I worked there for 6 months and I got fired. And anyone that knows me is kind of like, how does that happen? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And it was definitely a culture mismatch. It was the woman that I was working for had really a different skill set than the one that I valued, which really was a lot of what some people call soft skills. I call power skills. And she didn't appreciate mine. And so it was a horrible time. I was extremely wounded, extremely upset. And I took about a month to lick my wounds. And I said, okay, what am I good at? What do I love to do? And how can I help people the most? And what I knew how to do was to build really irresistible sales culture where people were knocking down the doors to be a part of it. But the best part about it was they performed. And so when you build this really good culture, your people rock it. They absolutely do. So I wrote this job description and I said, I want to advise all of the sales leaders on how to do this, on how to really take care of their people, take care of their teams, and honor the people that are busting their butts day in and day out for our clients. And so I called this the Chief Heartbeat Officer. And I was interviewing up a storm and people were like, you could do so many things. What do you want to do? And I said, I want to be your Chief Heartbeat Officer. And they would go, oh my God, I love that. I wish we had that. Oh, we need that so badly. We don't have it though. Good luck. And so I heard it, quite a few times. And so I said, all right, I'm going to build it myself. And so I started my company, Heartbeat for Hire. And that was a year ago. So
Congratulations. That's awesome. So you literally created your own position within companies. They just didn't understand it. And now here you are rocking it yourself.
I'm trying, man.
Leaders. Sometimes you gotta go build it yourself and just go do it, and that's fun being an entrepreneur. There's no box, there's no rules.
Oh, and let's not pretend becoming an entrepreneur after being in corporate for 25 years is hard. And so much of what you are given in a corporate environment, like accounts payable, people booking your travel, having a company card, all of those things, you got to figure it out on your own. So, the first year of business, I built a website, I started a podcast. Like, these are not things that I learned how to do in corporate. I had to figure it out. So some things I really suck at and other things I've learned I'm pretty good at. And, it's been quite an experience.
So going back to IBM, I lived in Rochester, Minnesota for a very long time. The heartbeat of Big Blue. When Big Blue was at its prime, Rochester was part of the biggest hub of IBM. So I'm very familiar with the culture. And it's interesting. You come out of that culture to be a very creative.
Yeah.
And like you said, that's a big jump because IBM was not going to allow you to escape the clicker. There was no room for creative.
I'll comment on that because I came from Lotus, and Lotus was definitely more of the creative, wilder side of IBM. And I have a very long legacy at IBM. My family put in like 105 years. So my father was an IBMer, my father-in-law, my husband, my mother-in-law. It was a lot of time we all spent there. So I grew up in that culture. And while I certainly remember the time that my father was wearing the suits and, the day that they were allowed to wear blue shirts was a big deal. And, here comes Lotus and flip-flops and dreadlocks and beer carts on Friday. And my father's like, what is happening? And I'm like, oh, you're going casual. He was like, no way. But what that fostered was embracing of different thinking. And IBM was a really diverse place, which I really appreciated. And I was very fortunate to work for some amazing leaders who gave me the space and the latitude to think differently. And I always called my team Mavericks and Hustlers. And it was so nice to be a part of that kind of environment, which isn't how people really thought of IBM. So
no. I would want to be on that team. I would be on the Maverick team. Come on.
Yeah, no, it was cool. Really cool.
By the way, people are commenting here. And again, the whole entrepreneur thing, that first year of being an entrepreneur. Yeah. People get it. So let's get into into that for a second here, because
Mm.
this whole idea of a leadership is where it all hinges on in my mind. And one of the things that I often speak on is the four important risks that every leader should take. My number one is care more than other things wise. What do you think of that?
Mhm. Oh, I mean, the thing that I teach with leadership, and it's right in that sweet spot, is you have to build trust with your people, and you do that by asking them how you can be the best manager for them. And when you understand what they need, you can advocate for them. But the big mistake that I see in sales all the time is so often they will take the high performers, the ones that are absolutely crushing it, and they'll say, we need to manager. But very few people ask the question of, why do you want to be a manager? And a lot of those top performers only care about their own wallet. So they're not going to be an amazing leader. They're not going to take care of their people. And they're going to say to themselves, why don't these people do it exactly like I did it? And they'll just get very frustrated. And you just create this toxic environment. It's a recipe for disaster. So I always love to ask, when I had an opportunity to promote people or to hire managers, that was a really important question to say, why do you want to be a manager? And the people that I promoted and the people that I put in those roles were people that absolutely loved their team, and anyone that worked for them would die on the mat for them to this day. And I felt that way about the leaders that I had. So continuing that it's compassionate leadership, but it's letting people do the job they were hired for. And anyone who's micromanager can't do that. So yeah, I just threw a lot at you on that, but yeah.
No. Because again, part of what I think you're also describing is part of creating this culture and giving them the right place, right people, right place, right gifts, right talents, put them
Yeah.
in the right place in the bus, right? And when they pull them out and say, you're doing so good, let's make a manager out of you.
Mm,
Again, they're not asking, are you a manager or are you one of those people that's right where you should be? Why do we
yeah.
do that? Why do we move them
Well,
when they're doing exactly the best job in the world?
so I've got two stories for that. So one, I had this rep and she was phenomenal. She was so good. And she consistently would get these $1 million commission checks. I mean, she was a force. But she was very self-aware, and she knew she should not be a manager. And I knew she should not be a manager. But some moron told her that her resume looked stale because she was doing the same thing for 10 years. I don't know about you, but if I'm making $1 million commission check, I'm fine. Like, you don't need to put in some self-doubt in her and make her feel subpar. I'm sure that person who said it wasn't making $1 million commission checks. So that's just one piece of it. Know who you are, know why you want to do the job you're in. That's really, really important. But the other story I wanted to share was, I had a leader and she was at IBM. She was a friend of mine and she became my boss. And I was telling her what I was doing for this really large client. And I had a strategy and I was really working hard on it. And I started to talk about it. And she said, girl, I've got your back. Now fly. And I got goosebumps then. I have goosebumps now. And what that gave me was the strength, the motivation, and it took away the fear for me to build new best practices, for me to take my big team of 55 people and be like, guys, let's think differently. Let's work with this client in ways we haven't before. She's got our back. If we screw up, she's going to help us through it, but let's try something new. And that was a real turning point for me, for the way that I knew I would always want to lead with those kinds of words. And so when you put that belief in someone and you say, I trust you, and do the job you're here to do, I got you. Every time I've ever done that, that person has taken risks, they've risen above, they've become my top performers. And it's just such a good practice.
So now you're describing building that culture.
Yeah.
That leader built the culture of, I got you, go fly, kick butt, take names, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
What are some of the other DNA of building the
Mm.
culture that leaders should sprinkle in to add to what you're describing?
Yeah. I have one that is so underused and it's so easy, and that's leveraging recognition. And, as a manager, most managers have some kind of discretionary budget that they can, throw money towards things, or you get points in your program or whatever it is. But Um, a simple one is just if you're having a team call, recognizing someone on a supporting team and saying, hey, you guys, we're going to bring Sally on the call today. She absolutely helped us crush this. We need to just celebrate her. She has no idea we're doing this. Let's make her feel good. First of all, Sally is going to be blown away. She's going to be embarrassed. She's going to be excited. She's going to be really touched. But Sally will forever be like, oh no, I love that team. I will help that team always. They saw me. They see my value. That's great. So that's an easy one. Another one is just saying, when you're asking that question of how can I be the best manager for you, you learn things about your people. You learn, okay, Emma loves to speak. So let's give her a chance to tell part of this presentation. Let's give her a chance to present. Or Jimmy really loves analytics. I have this crap project I have to do. I really need his help. But if he does a great job, I'm telling everyone he did it. And here's the thing that I really want to impress upon leaders. A lot of insecure leaders feel like they have to take credit for everything. But when someone is working for you and they do something really great and you give them the floor and you shine the spotlight on them, it makes you a generous leader and it's a reflection on you. You don't need to steal their thunder. If anything, lift them up. It makes you look better. So that's an easy one. And if you really want to go big, you say, no, there's an all hands call for the company. I need my person on that call. They need to be featured. They need to tell their story.
Okay, now you're just blowing people away right now. Now you're taking them way, way out there, which is great. And the comments keep coming, by the way. You have,
Good.
here we go. The idea of leveraging recognition is so important. People are loving what you're giving. I mean, there's a lot of gold nuggets here tonight. By the way, we do want to mention that we are sponsored by the National Speakers Association. The NSA is probably connected with Rock the Stage Media. We're happy to work with them. Earlier today, one of the shows I did was Behind the Stage with the NSA. So we are working in collaboration. Thanks for their support of making Rock the Stage every Wednesday night possible back here. Lyndsay Dowd is our guest. Again, she is that heartbeat of her own company, but the heartbeat for so many other people. Our company's shifting, though, through all the COVID, the world. It's not easy to get people to go back to work right now. It's not easy to find the qualified people that you want, but they will come back. And like McDonald's is like $17 an hour, $20 an hour now nationally. So what's the shift about and how can you help us out?
Yeah, so I think in the great hiatus, otherwise known as the pandemic.
That's a great way to phrase it. Thank you.
we started to see a real shift, and the shift that took place for me was obviously I changed my career, but I also really started living with a lot of intention, and I did that both professionally and personally. And so I chose to be with people that recharged my battery. I chose to do things that made me feel good, and that was really intentional. And that same concept was happening in our corporate world, and people were saying, I am done. I am not going to be treated poorly anymore. My life is worth more. My health is worth more. My mental health is worth more. This is it. We're finished. I will find something else. And today I quit. And so we saw this massive resignation, the Great Resignation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then some time passed, and now we're in the Great Reset. And the Great Reset is really this paradigm shift of leadership. And if you look at LinkedIn and if you look at what the experts are all talking about, they're all talking about how leaders have to really hone their power skills. And the leaders that are not doing that, the ones that believe intimidation and fear and aggression is the way that I'm going to get my people motivated, newsflash, it's not going to work. And it never did. So, you've got to reach your people in a different way. You've got to add fun. You've got to add ways that people can connect. And the thing that I think people have realized, whether you're in person, you're hybrid, or you're fully work from home, as a leader, one of the things that I did, and I learned this lesson, we did a Kahoot on one of my teams, And if you've ever done a Kahoot, it's just this multimedia quiz. It's got pictures and music. And I asked everyone on my team to send me an interesting fact that no one knew about them. And so it was all multiple choice. And so one of the questions was, this person has visited every major ballpark in the country but one. And so the choices were, there were 3 guys and there was 1 girl. And of course, everyone answered the guys, and it was Marcia. And so they're like, Marcia, no way. I didn't even know you were a baseball fan. And so every call that Marcia was on after that, everyone had some common ground. Marcia, what's left? What park is left? When are you going? What motivated you to do this? And, can we swear on this?
Okay. There's no rating on this. This is open forum.
So I always would tell my teams, it's a lot harder to be an asshole to someone after you've met them. So my goal was to create connection for people. And when you do that, all of a sudden, you're fostering competition in a friendly way. Your people they want to support each other. They become invested in each other. They listen to stories about their kids. They want to know how they're doing. And it's so much more of a friendly environment that you enjoy. And if you are a leader and you're not fostering these things, you're missing out. And it's just a job for your team. So there are those people that won't want to engage, but for the most part, everyone's going to come out of their shell a little bit. And I think that's an important piece for leaders to really understand and embrace.
Well, and again, I think the shift has happened. I think it's going to continue. We're not going back. And I think you're right. The leaders have to catch up. They have to realize, I love the idea of gamifying some things, having some fun, learning about each other. It's a huge shift. And virtually now, you can do that so well than ever before and do your global teams. Just
oh my God.
Just a few minutes ago, we had a friend of mine that I've not heard from in years. I'm going to bring it back up here for 1 second. But, Jennifer's streaming with us right now from Georgia. I'm in DC. Where are you at?
I'm in Boston.
Boston. We're all over the place, but we can do this engagement, make these connections, and it's a game changer. But as leaders, we have to learn how to play in this new playground, don't we?
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's here's the thing that I love to tell leaders, and I talk about this so often. Everything I teach, Rich, it's not hard. This is human behavior. It's modifying language. It's tweaking the good. It's not ripping everything down to the studs. It's not starting over. It's taking the things that have worked for you and it's making it better. And when you're a leader and you ask those questions, so when I asked the question the first time of how can I be the best manager for you? It's a very humbling question. You're admitting you don't know everything. That's hard for leaders. I mean, you're exposing yourself, but all of a sudden the answers you're going to get from everybody are going to be vastly different. And it's because of age. It's because of career goals. It's because of experience. But some people are going to need training. Some people want to role play. Some people just need coaching. And some people are going to be like, get the fuck out of my way. I just got to do my job and you're my escalation point. That's the beauty of getting to know your people. And then when someone taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, what's going on in the field? You're ready to say, I've got 2 flight risks, 2 people that need more training. I need an increased training budget. And let me tell you who's going to crush it because they understand their job.
So I think we have a follow-up question coming from the audience here tonight. And thanks for the question coming in. This is coming in from Ashley. And how do you personally encourage the leaders you coach to lean into the value of, there you go, PTO to increase retention?
This falls under the category of boundaries. And boundaries is a thing I got really good at, but I don't think a lot of people are. And I think the hardest part for anybody that's working from home is your commute's short. So, you don't have separation of like, I'm going to work, but I fence my time. And for anybody that uses Calendly, it's a great way to do that because you block your day. Like I don't take calls after 3 p.m. on Fridays. And that is my mental reset. I want to enjoy my weekend. That is just a hard stop for me. now. If somebody says, I'm a client and I need to talk to you, oh, I'll talk to them. But I really do try and protect that time. And I think as leaders, it's so important to make sure your people are taking time. They need to recharge, and you don't want your people to burn out. So if you are constantly asking them for stuff, I was recently on a call, we were talking about maternity leave, and there's a difference between sending a message to the person that's out on maternity or paternity leave and say, I just wanted you to know we were thinking of you. I'm not asking you for anything. I hope you're doing well. We all send our love. Versus, hey, if you have a minute, can you answer a question? That is sacred time. Don't you ever do that to someone, ever. You make sure that they enjoy that time. They deserved it. And we are like the only country in the civilized world that does a really crap job with maternity leave. I think someone used the example the other day of, a puppy can't leave its mother until it's 8 weeks old. We don't even do that for babies. So give them that time. And if you can give them more, do it. And a practice that's really interesting now, Rich, is a lot of companies are giving you unlimited PTO. Which when you get those deals, you're like, woo, unlimited PTO. First of all, nobody takes it all, or nobody takes it. You just, you work your butt off. And it's really a way that HR doesn't have to, or the company doesn't have to pay you if you leave the company. So it's not that great, but it's so important to respect and honor that time. And as a leader, you can't second guess it. You have to just say, no, you need this. You need to recharge.
So interesting. And that talk that I do about the 4 great leadership risks, I mentioned a company that actually said, we're going to pay for PTO both for male and female. And that was a big line of distinction. And they said, whether they take it or not, we're paying for it.
Yeah.
We're covering it. And then, so a lot of people, like, again, you care more than you think necessary. You risk more. You're pulling back into it. So my question here now is, what if you're the leader that feels disconnected from their team?
Yeah.
They don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
How does a leader change that and get in there?
This is the first place that when I'm trying to identify like who needs my help, this is one of the first things I ask. So are your people engaged on your team calls? If they're real quiet, maybe you've got an issue. And the first thing you ought to do is ask that question. Now, if you've been a crappy boss, you better be prepared for some solid feedback. And some people aren't going to know how to answer that question, but it's the beginning of building trust. And without trust, you've got nothing. And we used that example before of I've got your back, now fly.
Yeah.
You have to honor your people. You have to show up and say, you are here for this job. You are so qualified to do this. Do you have any questions? Is there something about this job you don't understand? Is there some way I can help you so you feel more confident? And I'll tell you a story. I had, when I was at IBM, I had acquired a bunch of different teams that made up an organization, and we were kind of the land of the misfit toys, and nobody wanted to know what the other team was selling. They didn't care. They were just like, whatever, that sounds hard. And one of the women came over from my team or came over onto my team from marketing, and she just, was putting up zeros for like 3 months. And I just couldn't understand what was happening. So, her manager and I sat her down and we said, so, PJ, what's going on? Do you understand your job? And she's like, I don't. I came from marketing and I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And so we said, okay, so let's start there. Let's explain what your job is so you feel confident and you can thrive. And then we started having conversations around, these are the things you can say to your partners. These are the things you can say to your client. And hey, if you screw up, we're here. And that gave her so much confidence. Rich, in 6 months, she was my top performer. And that is meeting them where they are, recognizing what they need, and supporting them with the things that they need to be successful.
So great segue. I mean, that's a great story. Great example. But that's probably also part of the reason why Apple News is ranking in the top 10 movers and shakers in the coaching realm for 2023. How did you get there? You got the experience, you got the knowledge, you got everything, about how did you get pushed out there where people go, pay attention to that gal over there?
So if anybody doesn't know how the PR machine works, I'll share some secrets. So I have a friend who's an absolute whiz in PR, and she she loved what I was doing. And she was just like, Lyndsay, you just need a bigger stage. You need a bigger platform. People need to hear this message. Do you mind if I go and pitch you to some of the publications that I work with? And I'm like, do I mind? No, have a blast. Go have a great time. Let me know how it goes. And so she came back to me a couple weeks later, and I was like, how did it go? You were kind of quiet. I didn't hear anything. She goes, oh no, they all loved you. But with most of these publications, you have to pay to play. So if you were going to have like a full feature done by, Fortune or Success Magazine or, Forbes, you have to pay to be featured. So we were very decisive about what would give me the most exposure. And the cool thing was all of them wanted me. So that was a really nice, flattering thing to have. But Apple News was the way that we went. And, it was a real honor. It wasn't just top 10. I was top 2. So that was really cool. And it was a real piece that added some credibility. So it didn't change who I am or what I do or how I talk or how I show up, but it certainly is nice to have.
I just dropped in the chat box for all of you playing along tonight, and thank you for the question, the comments, keep them rolling along with us. But I did drop in Lyndsay's social connections. If you have not connected with her, you're going to have LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. So you need to connect with this lady because she's got so much great content as we've been sharing tonight and as we've been celebrating her through the chat. Please go connect. She has so much great content there to do. And as we bring this up here and we go a little bit further, personal branding is something that I work on. I coach people on personal branding. Look at her get all excited. Look at that. I haven't gotten the question yet.
I know where you're going.
Because branding is so important. But the shift that I'm coaching everybody on, you are now the brand. Not your book, not your TikTok, not your Twitter. You are the brand. And as I media coach people to help step onto this new stage of being the brand, that's the new game changer. And you have to step out and shine in a whole new way. You need to learn media skills. You need to learn the trends. What do you say about this? Be the brand. Is that the direction you go?
Yes. And let me just say this, and this is the thing that I learned coming from corporate. You are not just your job. You are so much more than that. And especially all my coaching clients, we always do a bit of a LinkedIn overhaul. LinkedIn is really, for those of you that aren't super active on LinkedIn, it is not an online resume anymore. It is a platform for expertise. And if you have an opinion of any kind, I highly recommend you dig in. But what I learned in my journey was I had to really establish my voice. And so the first 6 months of Heartbeat for Hire was building content. It was creating the podcast. It was really sharing things that were meaningful and important to me. And for anybody that is just getting started or recognizing I need to do a little more than what I'm doing right now, or maybe I just have vice president of business development. Well, you're more than that. And, you're probably a sales leader, and you're probably a passionate speaker. There's all kinds of things you are, and you don't define yourself by one thing anymore. And it's totally cool to add some personality and talk about some of the personal stuff too. And I just really want people to understand that there is no such thing as job security. There is only career security, and you have to build that for yourself. There is no longer company loyalty. And if you don't believe me, pay attention to all the layoffs that just happened. People that have been at places for 25 plus years and they're out and they are scratching their heads going, now what? Those folks are the folks I'm trying to, really hit hardest and say, guys, pay attention. There are so many little things we can do on LinkedIn to elevate your voice, to make you be seen and heard. And I actually teach a course on this. I love doing it for corporate employees because they're not taught this and they don't understand how powerful it is. And it's a LinkedIn basics course. There are people that do super advanced things. This is, I'm going to clean you up, get you presentable, and put you out on the playground, which is really where people need to feel comfortable enough that they can do that. The biggest hesitation I see is I haven't touched it in a while. I don't really think if I post, anybody's going to appreciate that. And you want to be presentable. You want to look good. So let me help you. Please reach out. I would love to help. This is
On a regular
a
basis, we have LinkedIn experts right here,
yeah,
right here,
right here.
because like you said, it's changing, it's morphing, and there's so much to learn, and it's a powerful, powerful platform. We leverage it at Rock the Sage.
Yeah.
Today, I've leveraged it video-wise 3 times. I've had 3 different shows on that platform today. Every day at 2:00, I'm on at 2 p.m. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you need to leverage it. Look at the comments flying in here. Look at this. You've got your company is never, again, they're reinforcing, they're backing you up, they're applauding it. Here we've got, elevate your voice. Yes, I just talked about that today on one of my posts. That's
Yeah. So
exactly.
important.
Grab this information you're hearing tonight, make your own posts on it. Give credit to where you heard it, but
Yeah.
add your own voice and your own twist to what you're hearing tonight and begin reaching out and building your brand, build your voice, because you are that authority in whatever industry you're in, you have the ability to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
And
what
you know,
Lyndsay and I both work on.
the simplest way to start is if you follow a hashtag that you really like, maybe it's supply chain, maybe it's blockchain, maybe it's chat GPT, whatever it is, start to look at the voices that are the loudest on the hashtag and comment on what they're saying. The more you comment, the more followers you're going to get, the more feedback you're going to get. It's a very easy way to dip your toe in the water. So it's really not as hard as people think. You don't have to be a content creator to be using LinkedIn. It's great if you are, but you don't have to be. You can share articles that you read in Harvard Business Review or Fast Company or whatever you like, and say why you like it. But it helps you hone your voice. And when it's that time to look for a job, you have opinions. And oh, hey, by the way, if you're in sales and you want to talk to a client, the first thing they do is look you up on LinkedIn. So if you have nothing to say, you're just not very interesting.
If you don't have a profile picture, if you don't have a banner, again, those are some of the things we can get into.
Yeah.
And on this one right here, I just want, and again, it's a LinkedIn user chiming in here. Don't just comment. Don't just do the thumbs up. Don't just
That's
give
right.
a little emoji. 5 words or more will set you apart
Mhm.
from any other emoji.
Yeah, and have
On
fun
LinkedIn,
with it.
it's 5 words or more, you get bumped up.
That's true. That's
Use
true.
that little trick right there. So,
Oh, and whoever just said when someone comments, you respond back.
yeah,
Absolutely. If
yes.
someone takes the time to comment, you respond. Even if it's thank you for sharing. That's enough. Just comment,
Keep
respond.
the conversation going like we're doing right now, which is really great. You guys are living examples over here with us tonight. You have to engage. That's right. You need to
Yes.
engage. You need to be
Brian knows that.
being a bystander is not going to cut it. Be engaging. By the way, we do what I mentioned. This has been such an amazing episode here tonight. Lyndsay, you have, again, here's someone's coming in, stealing the words right out of my mouth. You are a superstar. You have given so much content, so much power. You do need to reach out to her. Make sure tonight you grab, cut, and paste, reach out on that. But Lyndsay, you also do have a special for everyone
Yeah.
here tonight, right? And this is very easy. You're going to offer everybody a free consultation, a free conversation. They can scan the QR code. And where's that going to take them?
I believe it's going to take you right to my calendar where you can book time with me. We'll spend 30 minutes, understand what your needs are. Right now, I'm doing sales coaching, career coaching, leadership and culture coaching. And then I'm working with a lot of companies and trying to coach their leadership teams as well. And I'm a speaker. So like you heard, we talk about building your personal brand. That is the best gift you could give to your team, you guys. If you want to be a leader and you want to like up your team's game, I love doing this. It's an hour. It's super interactive. We do it live. And then the other one is heartbeats, not head count. And that's all the topics we talked about before: building trust, communication and language choice, leveraging recognition, all of those good things. So hopefully there's something in there that you need.
Make sure you grab that QR code, reach out and follow up because, yeah, there is plenty of good stuff that she has to offer for you. And again, if you're ever interested, contact us at Rock the Sage Media as well, rockthesagemedia.com or rich@richbontrigger.net. We're always here to help you. We kind of balance each other out. Lyndsay and I she's got her area and my area, and we kind of really have a nice, good fleshing it out and makes it better and better all the time. Lyndsay, as we land the plane tonight, what's the best advice you can give? Or maybe a teaser to light somebody up even bigger and bolder as you've done tonight. What's the best word for the final wrap up tonight?
Oh gosh, I think right now, I'll go back to the boundaries piece. I think everyone needs to really be intentional with your time and intentional with where you spend it. You know, before the great hiatus, everybody was living a very obligatory life. We were going to baby showers and things of like friends of friends, and they weren't real fulfilling moments. And you have to design your own life. You have to be the conductor of your own symphony. And if you don't take control of that, and if you don't honor your time, and if your family is important to you or your pets are important to you, put them first. Because I promise you, you are far more loyal to your company than your company will ever be to you. So build that personal brand, protect your time, and give back as much as you can. People need more kindness right now. So be kind.
Lyndsay Dowd, founder and chief heartbeat officer of her own company, Heartbeat for Hire. Great to have you with us here tonight. Thanks for making the extra time for us.
Thanks, Rich. It was so much fun.
By the way, we have great stuff coming up with Rock the Stage tomorrow night. We do have open mic again. That is on Meetup. Make sure you go check that out and join our group. We actually coach, give you time to give a little word and learn how to connect better through video, through television, and learn how to master your skills right here on our Meetup group. And also, we're back every Wednesday night with How to Rock the Stage. 7 o'clock, we go live, and we have amazing guests, just like you heard tonight. We're streaming live on multiple platforms, and we're proud to announce the new edition of the audio podcast version. So what you heard tonight will be live on our audio podcast platforms, many of those Apple and other ones that you subscribe to. You can get the audio replay right away at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, streaming on multiple platforms. We're here to help you out with Rock the Stage any way we can, to help you shine on camera, shine on stage, to help you amplify your brand, your authority. Because, again, as we mentioned here tonight, you matter greatly, and your personal brand and your importance matters greatly. Reach out anytime, the Rock the Stage Media. Contact me, rich@richbontrigger.net. Until then, I'm the Trigger, Rich Bontrigger. Have yourself a great week, and we'll see you back here, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, live next Wednesday night.